Good. Look at you. Yeah, look at you. Hey, 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 hey. Hey. Oh, woo. Yeah. Good girl. That's the girl I'm talking about. That's a good girl. Huh? Amazing. Amazing. Good. It's a skill. It's a state of mind. Usually accompanied by the down, especially early on. Sometimes the dogs learn to enter this state of mind without being in the down. But this is the alternative behavior, okay? So whenever a dog's gonna do a bad behavior and we want to correct it, that's all fine and dandy, but we also want to give them coping skills so that they have something to choose when they start to feel the impulses to do a naughty behavior, a behavior that we've said we don't like in the past. This is what we use here, okay? The dogs to put their head on the ground, breathe out their nose, and to relax themselves, to lower their energy, relax themselves, and just observe, okay? So we're teaching this skill before we go into a situation and expect her to perform it, which would be if we're hanging on the side of the road and I'm checking my phone and then I see a bunch of dogs walking by or something she might normally react to and lunge at and bark at. If she goes to do one of those behaviors, I can say no, correct, and then she'll give me this instead. Because this is what she'll know at that point, this is what I want instead. When you feel like doing lunging, barking, and all that, just lay down, take a deep breath, and watch it go by. So this is her learning how to do this so that we can use this in the future, so that we can change her associations to all these things she might have bad reactions to, bad responses to. You know, knocks on the doors and stuff like that, okay? Good girl. Break.
Woo!
Nicely done.
Wow.
Nicely done. But associations are very important. What is her association to that command, to the down command, or to when I say shh, what is her association to that? It should be serious. She should take it seriously. It shouldn't be a game. But when I say break, I feel good now because that's appropriate. That's how you should feel when I say break. Look at this guy. That's a
Oh wow, it's a herring.
God, what is that?
A blue heron.
Blue heron. Blue heron.
Blue heron. Doesn't look very impressive on the video.
Yeah, but it was very big. He was just.
We see crazy stuff while we film.
Very good. Very good. Now, for some dogs, this is much easier. Good girl. And other dogs, it's very hard. Good. See how I pet her that time? She didn't come in. Good girl. It looks like nothing. This is good girl. Break.
Woo!
Yeah. But her draw is to me. Her draw is always. I'm not sure why. But
she loves you.
So.
She loves you.
I'm not kidding. I'm not
No.
kidding. So. In this environment, even with Izzy here the other day, she was still like, want to be up my ass. So that's very hard for her to stay there while I walk away. Good girl. Very proud. And so she's earning this affection. Very important. She'll earn the time I spend with her, and the quality, intimate time when she's up in the living room and all that. She'll be earning all that. Okay. It's important for her to feel that way. If she feels like it's all just expected to be given, because those are the messages we send to her, she's not going to listen, and that means that it's going to be a not so fun existence with her. But if we have her actually taking us seriously and like, okay, I'm going to listen to this person, just like all dogs, then they're the best selves and life is much better, okay? So all the small little things we got to take seriously, and we got to practice them, all right? Stay. Good girl. That's a good girl. Nice, good. Now that's not easy, but this is where she gets her good girl pat. Yes, good. Okay. She's used to being released from this position. I'm gonna ask her to DOWN. Down. Very nice. Look
Wow.
at the catch on that. Now that's a brain that's actually where it needs to be. It's listening and it's taking in information very quickly. And she's like, I'm ready to work with you. Creating this state has taken us the entire time she's been here. Which is like, how long now? It's like every day for 8 days. So just so everybody knows. And that's not too uncommon for us to have, when we have difficult dogs. They take almost 2 weeks to get to the point where like, okay, I can learn efficiently now. Because what we're teaching them is so easy. You know, we're not teaching them to do anything very complex.
Ride a
It's very
skateboard.
freaking simple stuff like stay there, you know, put your butt on the ground. Okay, now come to me. You know, it's Simon says stop. It's very elementary kind of understanding. But when they're being brats, then they don't take in any of the information. They don't want to listen. So we give them certain experiences. Of course, we still taught through that, you know, but we give them a handful of experiences that changes the way that they view us, and now they view us as relevant, and that they take what we say seriously. And once they do that, they see that's where all the rewards are, and they say, oh, I get this game now. And then they realize it's a really easy game. All you got to do is give up the fact that you can do whatever you want whenever you want, and adopt the new lifestyle of doing what your handler says, doing what your human says. And it's really rewarding for the dog, because now we get to go and do stuff and have a good time. We get to actually be out here with her within the week without having to do all this, and I can trust her, and she can have freedom and all the good stuff that comes along with it, okay? You could not have this dog before unless you had a nice fence out on a hiking trail, because you couldn't trust her.
No, she'd run away.
She'd run away, she'd probably chase squirrel, all the stuff. It's just like, you can't take her outside the house, you know? So, it's a good girl. You know, she's very new to this, which is being under the influence of a human, 100%. 100%. We don't want 70%. We don't want 80%. We don't want 90%. I need 100%. And what that looks like is if I say do, do. If I say stop, stop. Right? That's it. That's all I need from the dog. Good. And she'll have a good time. But when you say do and they're like, and they just walk away, that's not good. If you say stop and they don't stop, that's not good. Okay? Stay. Helping her out here, even though she should know to stay. Maggie. Good girl. Now, pet. That was amazing. Okay, you see the little jump there when I said her name? Good girl, but she's like, okay, that doesn't mean anything. She gave me the eye contact. She's seen the thumbs up. She said, okay, he's just saying I'm doing good. Which means, I like what you're doing, keep doing it. Good girl, right? It doesn't mean, oh, we're done, everything's over. That'll be the release. When I say B-R-E-A-K, that's when it's like you're done. And that's when we have a little party, okay? I know, it's so funny when we do these videos like this. I'm sitting here thinking, man, this dog's finally making the big breakthrough. And then you watch the video and you're like, this is boring. The dog's doing nothing. It's doing nothing. But you're like, well, what you don't understand is that nothing is on command. Like, I can have her go into that space of her mind where she's calm, she's quiet in her mind, and she's focused on what I'm having her do. This follower mentality, when she hears my voice, she'll go into it.
Yeah, and if you look at her drop-off video, you'll really appreciate this right here, because she was lunging, whining, wouldn't sit still, dragging her owner everywhere, screaming from the car.
Her biggest issue is that she has a problem with authority. So just because, it's almost like dealing with a 2-year-old, right? You tell them to do something, so now it's a problem. Only simply because you told them to do something, you told them to do it. I think it's very similar with her. It's
and Josh can say that because he actually has a 2-year-old.
Yeah, he'll be 3 actually in April.
And he's disagreeable.
You know, and listen, he's disagreeable. But it's all about it's all about the angle you take with him, you know what I mean? It's like you can get a 2-year-old to think things are his idea pretty easy. Dog, you can't tolerate it because you live in a human's life. You got work, you got kids going on. We can't worry about whether or not the dog's listening. So, Maggie. Break.
Yeah, Maggie!
Girl. Yeah, girl.
Good deal.
Who did that good one? And this is, by the way, this is a reward right here.
Yes.
Okay? So this is not free. She just earned this by killing it right there and doing that rep amazingly well. So she's learning that that's what gets her this side of me. Okay? Hey, you're being good. You're always going to get this side of me. And, you know, I go out of my way to let them know. As the owner, you might have to tone it down a little bit with the affection, depending on her way that she receives the affection from you. You know, we like what is called calm affection. So it's like, even though I'm saying good girl, she's still being calm. So that's the rule of the affection, is be calm while you're getting pet. And I just think it sucks to pet the dog and it elevates their mind, because that makes them unreliable. They don't listen. So it's like, I can't pet it. It's like, well, just tell it to change the association from being pet to one that's calm. And that's what I do. When you're in my personal space and I'm petting you, be calm. However, if I'm going crazy and saying let's wrestle, well, that's different. Okay? Long video, a lot of stuff to talk about, a lot of little things to cover in order to live with a dog who's pushy like this and who doesn't want to be under doesn't want to be a faller, wants to be independent. But like I said, that changes. They're all like this when they show up. You know, very rarely do we get a dog, and I mean very rarely, do we get a dog who comes in and they're like, I will listen right out of the gate. It doesn't happen. Okay, we have had one though once. We did get a dog and I'm like, wow, you just listen. That's like one out of like hundreds or thousands of dogs. It's like most of your dogs are just not going to listen naturally, and you have to do something about that, and then they do. That's just how it goes. But we don't do something about it, and that's what happens. I think the best option is to send a dog who's difficult like Maggie to a professional. It's just the way to go. It's just the way to go, because then you get to somebody who dedicates a lot of time and energy into shaping the dog's behavior. Look at this beautiful choice from Maggie right here. Absolutely beautiful. Good girl. I'm actually really impressed. I'm giving her a thumbs up. She's watching the situation, but she's not getting involved in the situation. She's waiting until I either say you can get involved with the situation, which is us moving over here, or I need you to do one of these commands. This is going to translate to, you know, guests coming in the house or us going out into public and things happening around us. That watching mentality and understanding that she's under my leadership, you can see it with her right now. This is what gets us through the world. Break.
Woo!
And I just invited her over. She said, oh, I can be part of it. Good girl.
Yay!
Good girl. Because she's doing really well, and I want to show her that that is what I like. That's
Good
what I
girl.
like. That is really the only missing link you have, Maggie, because you're smart. Yeah, she's shaking it off because she's saying, I'm figuring this out. This isn't so bad. Now, she's smart, but her whole thing is her attitude, right? So, like most dogs that come in here, they're smart, but their attitude just wrecks it. It just wrecks it. That means we have to treat her, we have to send messages to her that tell her that, let her know that when we speak, we mean what we say, right? There's consequences. So there's weight behind our words. So if I say, go to place, right? And then she doesn't, I prove to her that because she didn't, I correct her, which is the e-collar in this program. And then I ask her to go on the bed again. And then if she doesn't, she still refuses, I correct her even firmer. And then ask her to get on the bed. She gets on the bed, I say, good girl, and I walk away. That little micro experience of what we had there, which will be happening all through the day, every day, while we live with each other, starts to shape the way she feels when she hears your voice. Honestly, you know? And if we do it for like 2 weeks at home, maybe even a month, and we're strict with it, a dog changes the way that they feel about us, okay? And the way that they feel about the home, and the way they feel about the commands. And then we get a dog who's much more reliable. There's no magic behind it. As I'm explaining it, everybody's like, well, yeah, I guess that kind of makes sense, you know? If I don't listen, and then there's a punishment I care about right there waiting, but if I do listen, there's a reward that I care about right there waiting, the dog will adjust, okay? Okay, but make no mistake, you were absolutely right when you were thinking, man, I bet you if I start doing this, she's gonna be a big brat about it. You're right, you have a mess on your hands because she lived one lifestyle, and now we're saying, you're living like a princess, now I need you to come over here and live like a peasant. No, we're not really saying that, but it's like, I'm gonna need you to lay on the floor and not the bed. I'm gonna need you to go over there and do this and that. Telling her what to do versus having ultimate freedom, not only ultimate freedom, but freedom in a protective bubble of fluffy beds, toys, good food, you know, air conditioning, heat, carpets, hardwood floors in the summertime to cool my belly. I'm talking luxury. She's living with humans. And now we're like, real world. And she's like, you know, she has a false idea of what the real world is because she's been protected in this home, essentially. Now she's somewhere she doesn't recognize, with people she doesn't recognize, in experiences with real consequences. Now let me say, these are simulated consequences. They're real because I'm really giving her a consequence on the e-collar, but I'm simulating consequences that the natural world would give her. Running away, she's gonna get hit by a car, right? Running up on a dog, stranger dog, you're potentially going to get bit in the face, right? All these things could happen to you, and I'm teaching you, we're using this as the aversive rather than getting hit by a car, getting bit by a dog, getting quilled by a porcupine, right? We're maturing her and giving her life lessons. You need a program like this to do that. I think doing it from home will take 40 hours a week for like a year of your life, you know?
Yes.
So I think it is wise to get the foundation started at a place like this and then take it and run with it. Because we're going to do the part where we deal with the initial attitude, and we'll break the dog down to the point where they're like, okay, I'm done with the attitude. And then we say, good. And they're like, good? And I'm like, yeah, that's it. They just dropped the attitude. And they're like, oh. So we explain that to the dog, okay, of just being patient and going through every day until the dog goes through the same experiences until they change their behavior. Now here's one we're going to do that she was, I don't know what she's going to do right now. Today she was much better with her stay than the last time she was out, so she's made huge improvements. Place, amazing. That's like her 4th rep. That's incredible. That's incredible. Good girl. And we never dragged her to the bed. We slowly let her figure it out. And you've seen how patient I was before I gave her the answer and actually touched the bed. Good girl. Because this produces a dog who learned to look at my gesture and read my gesture and kind of follow my finger and see where I'm pointing and understand, oh, it means get on that. I wanted to give her I wanted to run through a lot of stuff with her today because she's under halfway through her program, but we're creeping up on halfway. And I'd like to start getting, like Julie did drills with her yesterday, I'd like to start tightening that heel up and getting those commands operating outside before we head off property and go to the real deal and go on the streets and walk by dogs and strangers and all that stuff. We're headed there though. Break. Beautiful.